Gently open your eyes. Last class we had completed the Moola Bandha as well as Udyan Bandha. Today we are going with the Jalandhara Bandha, the chin lock, or you can say the lock which is observed by bringing the bending of the neck by bringing the chin towards the chest. Coming to this shloka number 69 of our book from Kaivaladam, Atha Jalandhara Bandha. कंठम आकुंचे हृदये स्थापये चिबुकम दृढ़म बलजालंधराख्योऽयं जरा मृत्यु विनाशकः कंठम आकुंच्य in the throat हृदय स्थापये चिबुकम दृढ़म the chin should be firmly placed on the chest. Ideally the chin is not coming to the chest, but it is going in between your collarbones, the jugular notch, दो हंसुलियों के बीच में जो कंठकूप हम संस्कृत में कहते हैं कंठकूप. So कंठकूप is the region where you are keeping your chin locked. This is known as Jalandhara Bandha, the destroyer of old age and premature death. That is the death before Nishpati Avastha is attained. What is premature death? Last class also we were discussing. Premature death is something which is not coming to us as moksha, the ultimate leaving of the body and going beyond. But we are getting connected with the birth and death cycle, so we are involved into it. So when we Jara Mrityu, this Mrityu is completely connected with the birth and death cycle, and we need to go beyond that. And that happens practice of Jalandhara Bandha also. Let me be very clear and bring your understanding. When I did ask this question to my teacher, okay, how Jalandhara Bandha can create a kind of, preparation or connection with the moksha itself, or Unmani Avastha can be experienced, or Nishpatti Avastha can be experienced. Nishpatti and Unmani is one and the same thing. Nishpatti does means where there is no more evolution going to exist, but at the same time you have annihilated the coming back to the birth in some or the other kind of species. So Guru told that when you apply Jalandhar Bandh, after the application of Jalandhar Bandh, don't you feel like releasing to breathe in? I said yes. Now, don't you think this is with everyone? Yes. So, when you breathe in, breathe out, you are connected with the breath, you are connected with the material world. You are enjoying the physical body by sustaining it through these breaths. It is different that when the breath stops, the body dies. But now you have to stop your breath to make the body live forever. That was his answer. And to do that, to live forever, we need to make ourselves prepared by observing all the culturing of the attitudes, cultivation of the attitudes, coming to the right aspects of value system. What is honesty? What is truth? What is ahimsa? What is brahmacharya? What is non-accumulation? All these observations. And in Hatha Pratipika itself, we understood aspects of Utsaha, Sahas, Dhairya, Tattvajnana, Nishchaya, the determination. Then we also learned about the concepts of Brahmacharya, Tahara, Tyaga. All this comes in, your breath doesn't slows down to the minimum. You keep on breathing as per the need, as per the bhoga vritti of your body. You keep on breathing to sustain the kind of passion you are having in your body to meet the requirements. And Jalandhara Bandha is something which becomes truly practiced, or it becomes profound only when all such desires are diminished. Otherwise, until then, you will apply Jalandhara, but you will have to leave it once you feel like breathing in again. You will not sustain yourself like that. And breathing in again will happen until you are still clinging to life, until you are having that fear of death, until you are not yet prepared for that Nishpatti Avastha. You will still release the chin lock and breathe in. So that's beautifully connected the practical aspect of Jalandhar Bandha to the philosophical understanding of moksha. And that is where we say, with the practice of Jalandhar Bandha, we will not only overcome the aging process, but one day we will certainly sustain the death and we will not come across it. Rather, we will attain the Nishpatti Avastha. So, Jalandhar Bandha is also something which is going to make us prepare for that moksha. If you see the next shloka, it says, Badanati hi Shiraj Adhogamina Bhojal Tato Jalandharo Bandha Kantha Dukhoganah. Jalandhar is like, creating a kind of obstruction, or you can say the dam like bandha to the whole group of channels, and it prevents the downward flow of the fluid from the upper region. Today in the Bhagavad Gita class, we were talking about the nectar flowing from the Chandra, as Asha madam was relating it to the experience of Khechari that we read in Hatha Pratipika in the previous classes. So that of Chandra from the skull down into the Jatara is restrained and it remains in the upper regions. It puts an end to all kinds of pain. Adi Bhautik, Adi Daivik, Adhyatmik, Dukkha, they are brought under control. In fact, it is like when we say Kantha Dukkhoganashanaha, we should always remember that it is also going to overcome the pain related to the throat region. Now, pain related to throat region is a physical expression of the healing of the throat problems. Maybe tonsillitis, maybe goiter, maybe imbalance of thyroid parathyroid glands, or maybe some other kind of ailments of the throat may be getting treated. But those are physical benefits. We are not doing yoga for the sake of gaining physical benefits. Physical benefits are the byproduct. What we are doing is to gain the spiritual benefits. And here the spiritual benefits is like, we are creating a dam by practicing Jalandhar Bandha. We are creating a dam-like structure or an obstruction for all our desires, for all our attachments, whether it is desire for the family, for the positions, for the aspirations, for our passions. desirelessness just comes to us. And that's what is beautifully explained in Patanjali Yoga Sutras. Okay, one is Vashikara Vairagya and the other one is Param Vairagya. Vashikara Vairagya is related to the Drishtanushravika, the desires which are related to the material ones. But when we talk about Param Vairagya, getting rid of the three gunas also. So Jalandhar Bandha is something which is create a dam-like structure or dam-like observation of getting of all the attachments and becoming completely stabilized in desirelessness, which when profound leads us to the Nishpatti Avastha. And Nishpatti Avastha is beyond the gunas, going even beyond the Sattva. So here, Yoganashanaha is like going beyond the Pancha Mahabhutas. So Pancha Mahabhutik Sharira is what we are using it as a medium of all the understanding. But when we say Kanta Dukkha Vinashanaha, literally it means overcoming the problems of the throat. But now you start thinking about chakras, the lower five chakras. The Mooladhara chakra is connected with the earth. The Swadhisthana is connected with water. The Manipura is connected with the fire. The heart chakra or the Anahat chakra is connected with the air. And the throat chakra is connected with the space. Now what happens? When you apply this chin lock, it is said that you go beyond the experience of these five elements. And that is going beyond the three gunas, beyond the Pancha Mahabhautik Sharira. And that is where you are slowly getting established in the oneness with the self. That is the beauty of practicing Jalandhara Bandha. Some students ask, sir, whether we should hold the breath in or hold the breath out. I say you have asked a very general question, which is related to again to breath. Whether it is in or whether it is out, you should understand that you are going beyond the retention of the breath either in or out. You can retain the breath in, you can retain the breath out, you can breathe in, retain the breath in, you can breathe out, you can retain the breath out. You can do all the 4 steps to do this Jalandhara Bandha. But the understanding is to go beyond the material experiences and enter into spirituality. And that's what, if you see in the this 70th shloka itself, Badnati Shirad Jalam Adhogamina Bhojalam. What is Adhogamin? Something connected with your lower current passing through the neck above. So it gives an upward pull to the current which is there down below. When we say it is giving upliftment to the current which are belonging to below, तो जैसे मैंने मूलाधार का नाम लिया है, तो मूलाधार के पास ही हमारी कुंडलिनी है और ये कुंडलिनी शक्ति का जो की तरफ जो खिंचाव है, इट इज ऑटोमेटिकली हैपनिंग. तो एक स्टूडेंट ने मुझे पूछा, सर ऐसे कैसे हो सकता है? तो मुझे ना उसको फिजिकल एक्सप्लेनेशन देने के लिए, जो हमारे गांव के अंदर हैंड पंप वाला पानी का नल होता है, आप जानते होंगे, गांव साइड में, पूना साइड में, पलटन साइड वगैरह वो है, वेर यू होल्ड द हैंडल ऑफ द pump and when you push it down, the water is sucked up from the ground and it is coming from the nozzle. Everyone has seen that. So I said to him, as I told to him, what is making that handle to be pulled down and the water to come up? The more you pull down the handle, the better the water is pulled up. Sir, वो तो suction है. हाँ, वो कहाँ से आ गया? वो तो siphonization वाला power है, which creates that vacuum and the water is pulled up. I said maybe such kind of spiritual vacuum is created with Jalandhar Bandha, which pulls the current upward. Because when you apply Jalandhar Bandha, there is a surge of flow of energy from down to up, and the Soma Rasa is restrained up. And you will find that the Kundalini is getting awakened and pushed up. See, all these things with the simple Jalandhara Bandha. But we need to go beyond the understanding of physical aspect and enter into the practical observations of getting into this understanding. So physical, practical say, practically we should get into spirituality. हम फिलोसॉफी पढ़ रहे हैं, हम भगवत गीता पढ़ रहे हैं, हम पातंजलि सूत्र पढ़ रहे हैं, हम हठा प्रतिपिका भी पढ़ रहे हैं. पढ़ना जगह पे, आज सुबह भी हम डिस्कस कर रहे थे, पढ़ना अपनी जगह पे. सुनील ने कहा ना कि पढ़कर हम इंटेलेक्चुअल स्कॉलर तो बन सकते हैं, लेकिन प्रैक्टिकली क्या हम प्रैक्टिकल स्कॉलर बन रहे हैं? सो दैट बिकम्स अ क्वेश्चन. सो फॉर ऑल ऑफ अस इट शुड बी लाइक दिस, टीच लर्निंग इज वन थिंग, बट प्रैक्टिसिंग and experiencing is another thing. So we need to go into that aspect of yoga, which is the true understanding of the word yoga itself. In the next sloka it says, Jalandhare krite pave kanta sankoch lakshane na piyusham patatyagno na cha vayuhu prakupyati. Jalandhara characterized by the contraction of the throat is maintained. The nectar flowing from the moon does not fall into the fire, nor is Vayu disturbed. It will automatically lead to the stillness in the flow of Vayu, whether it is Pran, Saman, Apan, or Udana Vayu. All the Panch Vayus will become restrained. They will become still. And when this becomes still, it's also observed that the flow of the nectar also becomes steady. It does not fall into the fire and get exhumed. So this we have already discussed. And the next says, Kanta sankochane naiva dve nadyo stambhaye dridam madhya chakram idam nyayam shodash adhar bandhanam. Shodash adhar bandhanam. Yes, sir.
Question about Piyushanna Patatyagnav, the previous sloka. Now, Agni, is it relating to appetite and the instinct for food? And if
No.
that is so, no?
No. Agni, of course, you are connecting it correctly. But Agni, when we say that it is going to Patatyagnav, तो अग्नि का जो स्पॉट है दैट इज सोलर रीजन, और यू कैन से द स्टमक, और यू कैन से द नेवल रीजन. So it doesn't drops into the navel region. Of course, Jaఠaragni is produced there, no doubt about it. Right. But that is the region which is called as the sourceful region for fire for our body. So that resource is there, but the Piyusha secreting this nectar doesn't fall there.
So what effect does it produce? If it doesn't fall there, and if it falls there, what is the effect? If it falls there, and what is the effect if it does not fall there? Does it mean my appetite can go down?
The gesture is like this. If the nectar which is flowing from the skull, or when we say the nectar flowing from the moon, which is called as Piyusham Patatyagnav. So when this nectar is falling down, you are into birth and death cycle. You are experiencing all the material aspects, and it continues. Birth and death cycle continues. Why? Because the Piyusha secreting this nectar is getting dropped into the Jaఠaragni, and it is getting exhumed, or it is getting consumed. But now what is happening? This is not falling down. It is restrained up. It is retained up. As it is retained up and it is not falling down, the spiritual aspects of getting into the Unmani Avastha or Nishpatti Avastha or going towards Moksha is much more. And that is where you are getting rid of the Pancha Mahabhautik Sharira, where the Agni source is being there. So when this is not falling into it, you are not connected with the Pancha Mahabhautik Sharira at all. In fact, you are going beyond the Pancha Mahabhutas and you are getting established with the spiritual aspects of the same. तो कहने का मतलब यही है कि अगर रोजमर्रा की जिंदगी में आप सांसें लेते रहते हैं और ऐसे हैं जहां जालंधर बंद जैसे कोई लगाने वाला एस्पेक्ट है ही नहीं, जहां उसके फीलिंग्स नहीं है, जहां उसके एक्सपीरियंस नहीं है, तो जाहिर बात है आप बर्थ एंड डेथ साइकिल में रहेंगे। लेकिन जब आपने जालंधर बंद लगाना शुरू कर दिया और आप धीरे धीरे अपने ऊपर के सोम रस को ऊपर ही रिटेन करना शुरू कर दिया, जब वो नीचे आ नहीं रहा है, तो एक बार आपके शरीर का काल खत्म हो जाने के यानी संपन्न हो जाने के बाद में एक बार आप देह मुक्त तो हो जाएंगे, लेकिन जीवन मुक्त भी तब होंगे जब आपके सारे कर्म एनिहिलेट हो जाते हैं। तो जीवन मुक्त होने के लिए हमको अपनी ये सिक्रेशंस को ऊपर ही रिटेन करना है। अब जालंधर बंद के एक ही तरीका है ये सिक्रेशन को रिटेन करने का? नहीं, हमने उड्डयन बंद भी सीखा, हमने मूल भी सीखा, हमने खेचरी भी सीखी, हमने महामुद्रा भी सीखा। सबके अंदर यही तो एक एस्पेक्ट है। You as a practitioner or me as a practitioner should understand which practice is clicking with us in order to make this activity happen, or the conceptual understanding of the retention of the somarasa up only takes place. So which practice is suitable for me? And I'm continuously practicing that. So maybe you are practicing Jalandhar Bandha and helping the retention of the somarasa there and not letting it to come down to get exhumed into the solar or Agni. And this is where we say we are saved from birth and death cycle and becoming one with the Nishpatti Avastha. I hope I have answered your question, sir.
But just for my understanding, are there any practices where the Piyush drops into Agni? In other asanas, suppose I am performing other asanas, will this thing of Piyush reaching the Agni happen there?
But Piyush getting retained up is happening with every yoga practice. Even asanas. If you read Siddhasana again, going back to the first chapter, you will see there that as we apply the heel region and take our chin towards the chest to let our gaze come in between the eyebrows, we are getting into automatic experiencing of all the three bandhas. If you just go back to the first chapter and read out the 10 shlokas meant for Siddhasana, in those 10, the fifth or the sixth one will make you understand how Siddhasana is going to make you experience that. And it clearly says that Siddhasana is the only one asana with which practice you can go to moksha avastha or unmani avastha, it says. Rather than saying moksha, it is better to say unmani, because unmani avastha is something related to samprajñat samadhi and asamprajñat samadhi, or you can say savikalpa and nirvikalpa. So savikalpa and nirvikalpa is going to lead you into moksha. But coming to that nirvikalpa, you some kind of practice, you need to do some kind of arrangement, and then it will go. And if you see in Shuddhi Kriya also, even in the Nauli or even in the Kapalabhati, we are always experiencing as a preparation for the other practices, the inner cultivation of the nature of becoming very much relaxed and peaceful. So every practice of Hatha Yoga has that ability of making you experience becoming retained upward. It is not allowing you to go material wise connected. इसीलिए तो कई लोग कहते हैं ना कि जब से योग का प्रैक्टिस शुरू किया, पता नहीं ऑटोमेटिकली मेरे खाने पर कंट्रोल आ रहा है, मेरे मीठे पर कंट्रोल आ रहा है, चाय वगैरह सब अपने आप बंद हो रही है, और ज्यादा घूमना फिरना और ऐसे कुछ ज्यादा बाहर की चीजों में इंटरेस्ट लेना अपने आप कम हो रहा है। तो जब वो बोलते हैं ना अपने आप कम हो रहा है, तो हमको अच्छा लगता है, हमको ऐसा लगता है कि योग इसके शरीर पर और मन पर असर कर रहा है। लेकिन हम उसको अगर कभी ये बोल दें कि ये तुम्हारी मोक्ष की तरफ जाने की तैयारी है, शायद वो रुक भी जाए, वो बोलेगा इतना जल्दी मोक्ष नहीं चाहिए। तो क्योंकि खुद इस थॉट्स में रहता था। When I was a student and when I started teaching, when these things came to me, I used to feel, अरे इतना जल्दी मोक्ष नहीं चाहिए हमको, इतना अभी और एक्सपीरियंस, अभी और स्टडी करना, अभी और समझना है। गुरुजी एक ही कहते कुछ स्टडी करने की जरूरत नहीं, ये सारी विद्याएं भी जो है एक प्रकार की अटैचमेंट ही है। तो तुम जितना पढ़ाई करने के लिए तुम इसके साथ में अटैच रहोगे, तुम अपने गोल से दूर रहोगे। इनफैक्ट अगर कभी तुमको ऐसे फील होता है तो अपने गोल के नजदीक चले जाओ। कोई ज्यादा ज्ञान लेना बड़ी बात नहीं है। ज्ञान ये सब, जैसे आज हमने पढ़ा ना कि वेद वगैरह जो के अंदर जो कुछ भी नॉलेज है, दैट इज स्टिल द मटीरियल नॉलेज। वी नीड टू गो बियॉन्ड दैट नॉलेज। So if we are going beyond that knowledge, it is not to have all the knowledge. It is to have some, even one Upanishad is more than enough for an individual to get connected with his Atman and self-realized. So this is how we need to take the things and understand. This is clarifying your question, sir.
Right, right.
Yeah. Thank you. Another thing in your mind. Okay. We'll go ahead with that 72nd shloka. It says, Kanta sankochane naiva dve nadyo stambhaye drudam madhya chakram idam nyayam shodasha adhara bandhanam. The dve nadyo, the two nadis, the first, the most important one is Sushumna, and the next two is Ida and Pingala. The two nadis, because practice of Jalandhar Bandha, are completely blocked. And as they are getting blocked, this kind of, contraction at the throat region, this contraction of the throat region, which is known as a Madhya Chakra, is almost bringing about the control on the 16 adharas. 16 adhara means what? The flow of vitality towards this 16 adhar is brought under control. And for your information, I would really like you all understand, this 16 adhar is, I also spoke earlier, later on we will be coming across the 16 adharas, which are nothing but the 16 marmasthana in our body. Nowadays there is coming into consideration where the knowledge person who is having the knowledge of marma therapy, it is slowly dying down. Here people used to practice it a lot, but nowadays nobody practices because of the chances of infections and all. So material is taken in the hand and these points are pricked like we do in acupuncture. Now acupuncture is more modernized way of doing the marma therapy, but that is acupuncture, that is different. It is different from marma therapy. So in marma therapy also you have 16 to 18 points in your body which are punctured in order to let the body go along with the flow of the fluid, or you can say vitality. Now this vitality, because of the practice of the Jalandhar Bandha and the blocking of the right nostril, left nostril, or you can say Ida and Pingala and Ida, this marmasthana, they are automatically regulated and the flow of vitality to them is restrained. Kaivaladham has went on to give a description of the 16 adhar, and they name, I will just read out these names so that you will also know what are the 16 adhar. But there are other authors who have come across the explanation of Shodasha adhar with a different concept of the 16 chakra, throat chakra, Vishuddhi chakra. And they said that this is the Madhya chakra. And we have to understand that the 16 chakras are ending here and the above one are 2. The Agnya chakra is only 2 petal. And the above one is Sahasrara, 1000 petaled chakra. So from 4, you are coming to 16, which is the throat region. And the 16 adhar is brought under complete annihilation or control. So how that is done, that is a different concept. But the concept of the Shodasha adhar in case of marma therapy or in case of marma region or section in our body, we will understand this with 16 vital points. What are those 16 vital points? The Angushta. Angushta is the big toe or the big toes of your both feet. Gulfa, ankle. Janu, the knees, at the back of the knees for your information. Uru, the thighs. Shivani, perineum. Linga. Linga is the generative organ. Navel, that is Nabhi. Hrid, that is chest. Griva, neck. Kantadesha, region of the throat. Lambika is another point, which is tongue. Nasika, nose. Bhrumadhya, in between the eyebrows. Lalata is the forehead. Murdha, upper edge of the forehead. And Brahmarandra, that is the talu, top of the head, the crown of the head. The meaning is that the effect of Jalandhar Bandha is felt practically all over the body, right from the tip of the big toe to the top of the head. That is how all 16 Shodasha Adhar are getting the experience and sustaining the flow and becoming still. So this is how Kanta Sankocha or Jalandhar Bandha is leading to such kind of experience. Yes, sir.
16 adharas, hands are omitted. Hands are not mentioned.
Yes, in this adhara, hands are omitted. And that's why I said, okay, in some cases there are 18, in which the elbow and the palm also comes in. It is mentioned 16, Shodasha Adhar, which Kaivaladham publication has gone on to connect it with the 16 points. But there are other things. The Chinese medicine of acupressure or acupuncture talks about yin and yang, the meridians in the body. And this meridians in the body is connected with the 18 vital points. And these 18 vital points do connect us with our hands. And in those hands, you are coming across the palm position as well as the elbow, where such kind of puncturing or the pressurizing is done. So this is also there. Conceptual thing which I was telling you, the Muladhar is 4-petaled lotus or energy center. Swadhisthana is 10. Swadhisthana is 6. And coming to it is 10. Coming to Anahat Chakra, to the chest, it is 12. And when it comes to the throat region, it is 16 Adhar. So from 4 coming to 16, this Adhar by some other has been connected to the lotus. And one of the teachers from Kaivaladham, while taking our lecture, beautifully connected this plexus with the number of main nadis belonging to that region. And they could explain all the 16 nadis which are connected to this throat plex. So they said, okay, these are the 16 channels which are getting effect, and thereby are brought under control and the damming takes place. जालंधर का मतलब उन्होंने ऐसे बताया कि ये एक जाल है, एक नेटवर्क है, और ये नेटवर्क जितनी तरीके से आपको बाहर की दुनिया से कनेक्ट करता है, वो सारे नेटवर्क को सीज कर दिया जाता है and you become totally internalized. And that is the effect of the Vishuddhi Chakra, bringing you completely disconnected with and getting connected with the self, the flow towards spirituality. So Jalandhar Bandh works like that. I hope this is getting clear. Yes, sir.
Saying that in Kaivalyadham they have studied the modern neurology and linked it.
Yes,
those
yes.
16 points have been linked to the throat region.
Yes.
It's a wonderful thing.
Yes. And it is very much available. I will see whether I'm having that book of yoga therapy in which these 16 points have been said, and I will just scan it and send it to you people so that you can see which are those 16. And they have done the mapping. The way the throat plex is connected with those 16 channels, they have done the mapping and they have connected it to the eyes, ears, nose, and everything.
And all this the yogis knew only by experience.
By experience.
Thousands of years they have passed on the knowledge.
Exactly.
They did not open up the body.
No cart fat, no.
Marvelous achievement.
Sir, even Ayurveda, which is said to be thousands and thousands of years old science, if we go ahead today and see, there's some people say it is 8,000 years old, it is 5,000 year old. The Shalya Chikitsa, the surgery which was carried out 5,000 years ago, during the wars and all, people were getting amputated with their hands while fighting, and their hands were again connected to their body by doing this Shalya Chikitsa. So how it was getting connected? They were having the knowledge of nervous system very well. How to make that nerve numb so that the person is not going through that pain, and that anesthesia was given. Today, we are giving anesthesia by injecting it into our spinal column. But those people knew which is the region which can be sedated, and they used to use their hands and needles directly pricking that region and bringing anesthetic effect to that region of the body. And they used to carry out this kind of Shalya Chikitsa. If you study the Charaka Samhita or Sushruta Samhita, and if you come to understanding of Shalya, you will come across this aspect of surgeries. And you just imagine now these surgeries were happening 5,000 years ago. Today, Government of India is not giving permission to Ayurvedacharya to carry out any kind of surgery. But actually, this surgery was there in Ayurveda years and years long back. So just imagine how these things were studied and known. Ayurveda is coming out of the understanding through meditation. When we say Dhanvantari God or the Kumar brothers who gave the whole science of Ayurveda to us, we should always understand, okay, where did they got this knowledge? They were into meditation and they could speak with plants and animals. They could communicate with them, and they used to gather information. Okay, how this is going to help an individual person to heal himself or herself and go beyond to become one with its original nature. See the science of Ayurveda. That's why it is said, na, it is the science of life. Ayurveda itself means the science of life. So here the study itself is taking us to those aspects. So this is how we need to connect to this explanation here. And Swatmaramji was very, yes sir, coming to you. Swatmaramji was very much connected with Ayurveda also. When we start the 5th chapter of Yoga Therapy, you will understand how he tells us to bring about doing massage, to do certain kind of manas chintan on our body, to bring about certain changes of pressurizing certain region and how and bring up the healing aspect, how to take drugs in certain cases, how to expose to the other things beyond the vayus and all, and bring about the changes, how to take bath in hot water or normal water in order to bring about suitable changes. So such kind of therapeutical aspects has also been understood by Swatmaramji. So this is the great science.
In Hatha Yoga Pradipika, the 16 Adhars are not mentioned. It is the Kaivalya Dham note which gives.
Yes, yes.
So,
yes.
Swatmaramji has not told us what the 16 Adhars are. But he
in fact, yes, in fact, Swatmaramji, what myself and my teacher had the discussion, is Swatmaramji had that understanding the guru who is teaching the student will take care of this aspect to explain it completely. So here the importance of the guru comes into consideration, where the guru explains the 16 Adhara to the student and makes him get connected to the physical body as well as to the spiritual concept of the same existence. So these both things are very important, sir. So that's how we need to understand. Because many a place will come across this lacuna where Swatmaran doesn't goes ahead and explains, because he is more interested in connecting connecting Hatha Yoga to Raja Yoga. So that is the reason he is not getting into more physical aspects. He is trying to be focused more and more on the simple aspects of spirituality through practical means of physical body. You can say that way. And wonderful things, if you see the next shloka and all, now he is telling you, that Jalandhar Bandha, if you are practicing, it has to be done with the support of Mula Bandha and Uddiyana Bandha, if you read the next shloka. And that is where it becomes very clear to all of us how these three bandhas are important for us to travel to the heights of Hatha Yoga, or you can say connecting yourself to Raja Yoga. If you come to 70th shloka, it says, Mula sthanam samakunchya, Uddyanam tu karayet, Edam cha pinglam badhva, Vahayet pashchime pathi. Contracting the anus, one should from the Uddiyana, form the Uddiyana, and closing Ida and Pingla. What is closing Ida and Pingla? It is the practice of Jalandhar Bandha only. It is the practice of Jalandhar Bandha, because earlier shloka we have read that it will create a dam for Ida and Pingla. The Ida and Pingla is going to be totally non-functional. So Moolasthanam Samakunche Uddyanam tu Karayet, Idam cha Pinglam Badwa. As you apply the chin lock, Vahayet Paschime Pathi, what will happen is the prana will start flowing along the posterior path. Now that posterior path, Paschime Path, is none other than the Sushumna Nadi. So here the activation and the travel through the Sushumna Nadi is taking place. What does that mean? The experience of the becoming more and more into consciousness, getting acquainted with consciousness is what one is experiencing. Going beyond the physical consciousness, getting into the spiritual consciousness. Anenaiva vidhanena prayati pavano layam tato na jayate mrityu jara roga adika tatha. So here only by the practice, pavana is nothing but prana. It merges into the Brahmarandra, or the Sushumna Nadi, and then do not occur the premature death, or death which we experience before the Nishpatti Avastha, old age or diseases. Now, diseases is the physical experience, old age is the physical experience, and the death, premature death, is also an experience of birth and death cycle. And we are going beyond all these three experiences and getting connected with the self. So here, Anenaiva vidhanena prayati pavano layam tato na jayate mrityu jara roga adikam tatha. He says, bandhatrayam idam shreshtam mahasiddhaishcha sevitam sarvesham hatatantranam sadhanam yogino viduhu. This is the remarkable triad of the three bandhas, which is practiced by all the great yogis. The yogis know it to be the means of success in all its aspect. Means of success means the practice of Hatha Yoga. Now, once some people, they are immature into going through the learning of Hatha Pradipika or Hatha Yoga, and they come to only these sentences and they start practicing Moola Bandha, Jalandhar Bandha, and Uddiyana Bandha directly. अरे अपने को वो एक्सपीरियंस होने वाला, वो एक्सपीरियंस होने से पहले स्वात्माराम जी ने जो सेकंड चैप्टर में 78 श्लोक लिखे, फर्स्ट चैप्टर में 70 और श्लोक लिखे, उसका क्या तुमने वो ऑब्जर्व की स्टेप? और उन्होंने कहा था अभ्यासानुक्रमो हटे, अभ्यास का क्रम क्या है कि भैया पहले आसन के चैप्टर में जो बताया वो फॉलो करो, फिर प्राणायाम के चैप्टर में जो बताया वो फॉलो करो, फिर उसके बाद में तुमको बंद मुद्रा में आना है। और जब बंद मुद्रा में आते हो और पहले का ऑब्जर्वेशन नहीं और ये एक्सपीरियंस करोगे तो कुछ प्रॉब्लम ही होगा, फायदा कुछ नहीं होने वाला। This is where we need to make the novice student understood how he or she should be more focused on the preparatory practices and getting prepared for the ultimate ones. Right. In fact, Guruji used to always say your goal should be mastering the preparatory. The moment you start mastering the preparatory, you will sometimes you may not be realizing that you are already ready to practice the advanced posture. The day you try to perform it and do it, you will feel, "Arey, ye to ho gaya." It will be like a revelation for you. So the higher practice automatically reveal unto you. So higher practice, the preparation is ultimate. So preparation पर जो ध्यान होना चाहिए वो आपका बहुत ज्यादा होना चाहिए, न कि डायरेक्ट ऐसे एडवांस प्रैक्टिसेस को प्रैक्टिस करने का. Okay, so here we are coming to the end of Jalandhar Bandha. If there is any doubt in your mind or clarification needed, please ask. Next we are doing Viparita Karani Mudra. Yes, sir.
So, in none of the bandhas, normal breathing is permitted, is it? Normal breathing is not permitted.
In fact, in therapeutic cases, we allow normal breathing in Jalandhar Bandh for people who are addictive to like alcohol, addiction related to the sedatives. In fact, I have worked upon people who became addictive to sleeping tablets and all. Without taking those tablets, they were unable to come out. And when I started introducing this aspect as we were taught, applying Jalandhar Bandh, try to slow and shallow breathing. Jalandhar Bandh application itself brings about the sedation of the brain, or you can say the flow of the carotid through the carotid sinus. The oxygenated blood to the brain is somewhat restricted, not totally, not even 50% restricted. It is restricted only 15% to 20% maximum. But those 20% also is a very vital change for the brain to experience with the lack of oxygenated blood. And you know, with the rest of the 80%, it starts managing the things. So what it does, how it manages, it just closes the unnecessarily working in the body. And those unnecessary working are our eyes, our ears, our tongue, and it completely disconnects you from the external world, but keeps the internal functioning happening. The best example which I would like to relate it to you, we all are using smartphones today. And this smartphone works with the continuation of the data flow in our phone. And the apps which are there in our phone, we may not see them running at the background, but they are doing everything at the background. They are collecting data from your SMS. They are collecting data from the other apps. They are collecting data for all your bank details. They are collecting, yes, everything is getting collected in the background through these apps. What is the main thing? The data flow. What is that data? That data is the prana of that mobile phone. If you switch off the prana, nothing works. If you cut the data, आप क्या करो, आपके मोबाइल फोन का जो डाटा है वो बंद कर दो. जैसे आप डाटा बंद कर दो, ये सारे एप्स बंद हो जाते हैं. फोन चलता रहता है, ऐप सारे बंद हो जाते हैं. यानी जितने भी इंद्रिय दिए गए हैं उस एप्स को, 50 से 60 जितने भी होंगे एप्स उस मोबाइल में, वो सब के सब क्या हो जाते हैं, बंद हो जाते हैं. In fact, when the battery is also going down, the smartphone gives you an indication. Some apps need to be closed at the background so that we can reserve battery. तो प्राण का एक्चुअल जो बैटरी की जरूरत है, उसका लाइफ बढ़ाने के लिए आपको क्या करना पड़ता है, कुछ ऐप क्लोज कर देना पड़ता है, so that you can again charge it and make those apps functional. Now just imagine the same thing happening in your body. Vital organs, they can be under control by, no doubt, flow of prana is there, but restraining the flow of prana to brain, to senses or vital organs, and still keep you living, but at the same time in a subjugated manner. And that helps you to delay the onset of aging process, and you are living more. So scientifically, you can connect yourself like this, but at the same time, this is how the whole thing is happening. To see how the pranic energy in the body is utilized with this three bandhas, and all the things have been taken care of. As you asked that question, sir, it is yes, these bandhas do brings about such kind of change where you become still, where your mind functioning to the external things becomes still, and thereby you are overcoming the addictions also. You are overcoming the other functions also, and thereby becoming very much into your own, not getting externalized. You are becoming alert towards yourself, not to the material world. Sir, you are mute.
Normal breathing is not recommended. Then I think retention would be easier, no? Than retaining out. Retaining in will be easier than retaining out, I think.
Sir, it is upon the practice again. How you are training yourself. Retention of the breath in, retention of the breath out. It is depending upon your training, upon your preparatory practices. As you slowly, gradually go ahead. In our pranayama sessions, what we are doing? We are doing the retention in a very sahaj manner. Sahaj to the ratio of only 1. And slowly, slowly we have to go 4 times. When that 4 times will come, our body will only make us understand or reveal it to us. Okay, now you are ready to go up to the retention of the breath to 4 times. And what we have learned in the second chapter, such kind of Sahita Kumbhak should lead to Kevala Kumbhaka. What is that Kevala Kumbhaka? The retention of the breath either in or out without any duration mentioned. Because you have trained your system in such a way that the restraining of the breath can take place as much as you want. But that is known as Kevala Kumbhaka, whereas others are Sahita Kumbhaka. So Sahita Kumbhaka, we have a particular measurement and duration, whereas Kevala Kumbhaka, it is free of every kind of compulsions. You have to inhale, you have to exhale, you have to retain it in, you have to retain it out. It is free from all these things. It just happens. So that is Kevala Kumbhaka. So here again, I would like to stress the breathing in or the breathing out should not be taken as we should do it or we should not do it. How are you comfortable? Many a times the students tell us, okay, sir, we are not comfortable to do this Jalandhar Bandha without breathing and holding the breath out. So I go and tell them, it's fine if you do short and shallow breaths there, but you are Jalandhar Bandha. Let's see how it helps you. And we have got the feedback that it has helped them to control their emotions. It has helped them to overcome the addictions. Even a person who is going through hallucinations, a person who is going through a lot of grief, shocks, loss in the family, someone dies in the family, and that person is under the grievous shock of losing that person, even that person can overcome such kind of experiences by coming to this Jalandhar Bandha. Such kind of people should come to the practice, do the practice, learn it gradually, and then overcome such kind of emotional setbacks. One should not go directly do it. This is how we have to understand. Sunil bhai. Unmute.
Yeah. So since we are, at the end of Bandha, so, both in terms of the discussion as well as in terms of practice, Bandha appear to be relatively simple, but they actually do not seem to be.
They are not.
They're not, right?
They are not. They are not.
So what? Like we've said, of course, this is chapter 3. So we have to master asana and pranayam to be able to really begin to apply the bandha, right? Is that true? And I remember
Yes.
Jaikumar was also mentioning one time that when he was learning, it took him about an year to actually get to a stage where they could, meaningfully, get to. Is that right, Jaikumar?
And in fact, on that day, we even said, the Mysore school of Ashtanga Yoga, they make you to practice asanas with bandhas.
Right.
Yeah. Because they want you to become prepared for the same. Jai Kumar, please go ahead.
Sunilji, what did you ask?
No, I asked that you were mentioning that it took you almost an year of practice to be able to get to stage where you could apply the bandha.
Yes.
Right? Yeah.
Because what I felt the difficulty, if your stomach is like concrete, means the intestine and all the internal organs are not moving, not flexible, then very difficult to hold it, You feel
right. Okay.
Some kind of irritation or some kind of difficulty, which I cannot describe.
Yeah, see, for example, if there is a lot of intestinal gas, then one can imagine that one cannot manipulate the intestines the way we need to, to come into the bandha position.
And I got a problem. After my TTC, I could not hold my, air. It was going, what is fat, this was going in, and then I went to another Swamiji, and I was telling him I can't tell to anybody because I was teaching, I'm a teacher, so I couldn't tell anybody. So I went to this teacher, and he was telling me, you did without proper practice, you did Kapalbhati. Kapalbhati is most dangerous pranayama, without doing enough postures. You have to do a lot of sun salutation and all, forward, backward bending, and this part, this entire stomach should be, flexible, and your blood should be, pure. And he was saying many things, but, and what he told me, like without practice, without proper practice, I started practicing this Kapalbhati, like 100 pumping, 120 pumping. Then what happens, I could not hold this air on my stomach, and my bodily heat rises. So that this air was releasing through anus.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, right. So, therefore, so in terms of, of course, in yoga, there is no concept of hurry at all. But what is it you think? How is it the physiology that gets prepared? Is it the energy currents that get prepared?
See, these are all interconnected. If you study Ayurveda and you try to understand the concept of three gunas with the concept of three doshas, connecting it to the Pancha Mahabhuta, connecting it to the Sapta Dhatu, and then connecting it to the three malas, they are all interconnected. They are interconnected with these nadis, with these channels. And how do the Ayurvedacharya detects your problems? He just catches holds of your nadis. The moment he understands the functioning of the nadi, he says, this is the problem in you. In fact, if you are not showing the face and the body of the person to the Ayurvedacharya, a true Ayurvedacharya, and if you are just showing the nadis to that person, the Ayurvedacharya can say whether that person is a male, female, or as a transgender by just holding the nadis. Because every person has their own nature. Their nature functions according to the nature functions the three doshas. According to the three dosha, the manipulation of the Pancha Mahabhuta takes place. According to the manipulation of the Pancha Mahabhutas, the Sapta Dhatus are brought in and expelled out. And within this, the waste product, the three malas, the Mutra, Purisha, as well as the Sweda, they are as the byproduct, the waste material. And all these are interconnected. If If malfunction at any one point, it is going to create problem to you. So what you have to do first is the preparatory practices. Prepare yourself well, so then only you will be able to experience it. आजकल लोग कहते हैं ना कि हमको प्राणायाम सीखना है, हमको बंद सीखना है, हमको मुद्रा सीखना है, हमको सिर्फ इतना ही सीखना है, बाकी का हमको जरूरत नहीं है. It's not, and so much information is available on internet that people get fascinated because of it, and they start practicing it. The Western teachers, they do not care for making their student understand how it is important for them to go step by step into the preparatory practices. But they will directly make them to experience the thing. Now, initially, when they are experiencing a small duration, bandha and all, they experience good. They experience lot of peace within. But they are not yet cleared with what they have accumulated earlier. First, you have to bring the balance to that. If that balancing is not happening, and if you are going for this practice in continuation, it is going to create a problem. So this is how we have to understand the three bandhas and go ahead.
So therefore, the order really is, even if we take Hatha Devika, would you, and you can please correct me, that we start with the, so to say, conditioning practices, Sukhasana, Padmasana, all the variety. Then the dynamic postures, including the, like Jaikumar mentioned, Surya Namaskar, etc. Then we go to, now, is it, then we go to the breathing. Breathing means, of course, pranayama is when we bring a break between the inhalation and exhalation. But prior to that, when we have like our sectional breathing.
Yeah.
Right. So, is it okay to do those before the asanas, or even these should be done only after adequately asanas have been practiced?
They can go on the parallel position.
So that is
Sukshma Vyayam, Surya Namaskar, Asana, and Shuddhi Kriyas. These four things should go parallelly. First, you should practice this.
Okay. Sukshma Vyayam,
Surya Namaskar, Asana, and Shuddhi Kriyas. Because this is going to bring about the change in your Sthula Sharira. These are all meant for your gross body.
Okay.
The moment the gross body is prepared, then you are connecting yourself to the Sukshma Sharira. And Sukshma Sharira is connected with your breaths. That is where the breaths and the nadis are getting conditioned. And from pranayam, you are entering into the bandha mudra to bring about that change. So bandha and mudra should come along with pranayam on the parallel front after practicing a very good practice of asana. At least for 2 to 3 years, one should not even think of starting with the pranayam or bandha mudras on the higher level. If you have been practicing, then it is a different thing. But if a novice comes in, he should not immediately start. He should at least take minimum 1 year or at least 3 years to start with his other practice of pranayam as well as this thing. Even Nadi Shodhan can be started to these practices along with the Shuddhi Kriyas and all. Without that too. Without the bandha. And the bandha part in the Nadi Shodhan should come only at a later stage when the person has already structured his body in a proper way, and then only he or she should go ahead and practice ahead.
Okay. Right. That is yeah, that's so different. Even in the syllabi, see, the thing is, as lay people, that is all right. One can be forgiven and one can forgive for, kind of being a little hurried. But even in the modern syllabi of yoga, we find the bandha and the mudra coming up into introductory courses.
Which is not correct, sir.
Which is not correct. No.
Which is not correct. Now, this is like, the people who are preparing syllabus, they are trying to give a holistic approach to the practice. But that holistic approach is not a step-by-step understanding. Today we have 3 months courses, we have 6 month courses, we have 1 year courses. yoga is not supposed to be understood with these things as a practical. Yoga, first you do the practice and then come into the learning or becoming teacher's training course. Guruji used to say, unless and until you have practiced for minimum 3 years, you should not think of even becoming a teacher of the same. First do the practice. First do the practice. Gain the knowledge of the practical aspect. Then come to the theoretical aspects of what you have learned as practice, and then go ahead slowly ahead and become a teacher. Unless then, first be into the practice. और आजकल कैसा है, लोगों को तो योग का एक स्ट्रीम ऐसे मिल गया है जैसे एडजुवेंट टू व्हाट दे आर डूइंग. They are doctors, they want to be yoga teachers. They are teachers, they want to be yoga teachers. They are beauticians, they want to be yoga teacher. उनको ऐसा लगता है पैसे कमाने के लिए बहुत अच्छा तरीका है ये, बन जाओ योगा टीचर. But it's not like that. Not like that. It is very different. People are not under, and to some extent, we as institutes also responsible for such kind of culture. The institutes also should take on the responsibility to understand this and make it clear to the public. This is not that as you. Because institutional understanding is also this. कि पैसा मिल रहा है ना तो सिखाओ. ऐसा हो गया आजकल. All the institutes, don't want to name any particular institutes. The institutes are having only that thing in the mind. कि the energy should flow. पैसा आना चाहिए, तो ही हम ऊपर जाएंगे. और वो आने के लिए आप सिखाओ, कुछ फर्क नहीं पड़ता है, सिखाओ. And who comes, अच्छा ठीक है तुमको कुछ नॉलेज नहीं है, आ जाओ, सिखा देंगे, आपको टीचर बना देंगे. 1 महीने में बना देंगे, 3 महीने में बना देंगे, 6 महीने में बना देंगे. People are not understanding what kind of grievances they are bringing into the public. We need to come to that aspect. अब ये हठ प्रतिभा जब हम पढ़ रहे हैं तो इस चीजों का हमको एहसास हो रहा है. अगर हम ये पढ़े ही नहीं तो हमको भी कहाँ था एहसास, बताइए आप.
Quite true, sir. Quite true.
So this is really important. So I hope when we are learning this and understanding this to this level, if tomorrow the application comes in from us, we need to keep all this thing in the mind and go ahead. And for your information, sir, I do take care of these things. I do take care of these things. And many a times students in my PTC, they ask me, सर आपने प्रैक्टिकल क्लास में तो ऐसे सिखाया था, आप यहाँ थियरी में ऐसे बोल रहे हैं, ये दोनों में ऐसा डिफरेंस है. तो वो प्रैक्टिकल था, ये थियरी है, दोनों को समझकर आपको जोड़ लगानी होगी, फिर आप आगे बढ़ सकते हैं. तो थियरी में जो है वो अपनी जगह पे, प्रैक्टिकल में इस तरह से जाना है. तो प्रैक्टिकल में सीखते सीखते जब थियरी जोड़ते हैं तो कई चीजें और कंसेप्ट क्लियर होते हैं. और जो लोगों को प्रैक्टिकल एक्सपीरियंस है ही नहीं और वो थियरी में आ जाते हैं, इट बिकम्स अ प्रॉब्लम.
It's always, one should make an informed kind of curriculum. As you rightly said, I've always felt that with the right intention and knowledge, one can create a bridge, always. Right? That's not impossible. But it is just these two things are very important. The intent should be pure and the knowledge should be, vast. Then only I think one can do that.
It is, but I would like to share one thing.
Ji.
The YCB board cultivating these courses like level 1, level 2, level 3, अब तो level 4 और level 5 भी आ गया सर जी. अब आप ये सोचो कि ये courses, they are all meant for understanding the money matters, and they want to satisfy all the institutes. कैवलगान को भी सेटिस्फाई करेंगे, योगा इंस्टीट्यूट को भी सेटिस्फाई करेंगे, रामदेव जी को भी सेटिस्फाई करेंगे, एस व्यासा को भी सेटिस्फाई करेंगे, श्री श्री रविशंकर जी को भी सेटिस्फाई करेंगे, क्योंकि ये सब बोर्ड में है. और सबको सेटिस्फाई करने के लिए ये कोर्स को पूरा भेल बना के रख दिया उन्होंने. Somewhere I am very critical about this, and when I take this to Baswareddy ji, so he gets furious and says, Sabir ji, ये सब बोलने के लिए अच्छा लगता है, लेकिन when we work together it doesn't happen. मैं बोला सर, that is what we need to learn now. Okay, how to work together. So thank you for that. We will go ahead and wind up the session. Yes.
Oh, Purnamada, Purnamidam, Purnat, Purnam Udachyate, Purnasya, Purnam Adaya, Purnam Eva Vashishyate. Om Shanti, Shanti. Thank you. Okay, so this now alphabetically, it's my turn to facilitate our experiential learning session. So over the week gone by, I would like to begin with myself. The one good thing was that the morning practice remained uninterrupted so far as the class is concerned. On one particular day, there was only, Mahendraji and myself were the only two people there. So I was teaching, or teaching, but I was just kind of instructing, and he was, kind of following. So that was one facet. In my, I think that continues to, make the body a little lighter. The practice is leading to a certain. In the initial period, the progress was greater. I would say in the last week, maybe it was not as much, but then these are just small matters. But I think the direction is kind of right. And yeah, I mean, that's it for myself. Who would like to go next, please? Yes, sir.
On that particular day when Kabir Bhai took the breathing in the morning,
Yes, sir.
Asha ji at the end of the session said that this was a fantastic experience.
Yes,
She just snatched away those words from my mouth. Because I did not then say the same thing because I was still in that state where we were completely, enjoying that whole experience of breathing. And that really, as we were discussing today, experiencing things and understanding are two different things. And we experienced and understood at the same time on that particular day. So that was a very nice experience of learning pranayam. And especially for myself, I had never paid any attention to Omkar except, chanting it. But on that particular day, I could really understand that Omkar has a different significance, and when you utter it with that understanding, then it is a different thing altogether. Completely different thing than simply mechanically producing the sound. So this was the second part. Third part, as we were just now, as you were referring to teachers, I find and I have this urge that in my society there are so many senior citizens, and even if we do in the evening some simple micro exercises, I'm sure it will benefit all of them. But I'm not. I have that temptation to suggest this to them, but I have stopped because I said, let me first master the my Sukshma Vyayam, and only after I have mastered it, I can offer it to them. Though I feel the urge to offer it to them, because many of them are, complaining of this and that, and they are not really active, and we can easily be active. It doesn't take any, great effort to become active. So that's why I feel that urge, but I have stopped myself. So these are the three things that have happened. in the last 1 week.
Sir, I would like to interrupt here. If you're having that urge of getting only the Sukshma Vyayam done from them, I should say, I should make you understand. Please go ahead. Do not stop yourself. Why should not stop yourself? Because this will help you to learn better. When you start teaching the Sukshma Vyayam that you are learning, and when they start benefiting out of it, you yourself will benefit out of remembering it better as you do the practice. And with their experiences, their experience will add to your experience of what you are going through. You will share your experience, no doubt. What about the sharing of their experiences as you are teaching them? And you will find your own innovative ways of getting these micro exercises done properly.
Sir, I would like to second what Sabir Bhai said on the two fronts. One, my own Friday experience. You see, we've been doing Sukshma Vyayam now for what? Just about a month and a half, right? And so it came upon me on Friday to kind of think. And I was surprised to myself, and Mahendraji can kind of course, give his view because he was going along with the instruction. I was surprised with myself as to how, things were just flowing one after another. I did not think that I'll be able to carry on that. I think we probably did about 35 minutes or so of Sukshma Vyayam before moving on to. I did not think that I would be, without referring to any paper, without looking to a checklist, even though I have that laminated, etc. So I think Sabir Bhai is right. Once the physiology itself will tell us whether that urge itself is somewhere indicative that there is some readiness. Second, and this is where I think the Yoga Institute, the Santa Cruz, has done a very good job. That even though it may not be, this physical practice may or may not be as rigorous. I'm unable to comment on that, but they've simplified some of the postures to an extent whereby, with taking out, for example, all the mudras, most of the mudras, taking out the bandhas. So with some degree of practice, but with a lot of understanding going along with that, one can go ahead and teach two people without, and that's what we hear. And Ashaji herself related the other day, that those who have done the institute practices, they don't really want to go, to the more deeper practices necessarily, because they find at the very least it's very safe. They don't come to much harm as a result of the institute practices. But having said that, it's obviously a judicious, kind of application of our knowledge, mind, and experience. But broadly, I think Sabir Bhai is right.
Yeah, to support or to reinforce what Sunilji has said. In fact, that day, my laptop didn't work for about 10-15 minutes. So I had to switch over on the mobile. So the practices were being done on my mobile. And the mobile was also in such that many times the voice was breaking. So the voice was breaking, the instructions were not being heard, yet the systems went very good. Whatever it appeared that something was, moving us. Something was moving us, Sukshma Vyayam or breathing or asanas, some sort of homogeneity was created automatically, though the voice was breaking. So this was one of the system which I feel that regularity or abhyasa is adopted slowly, unknowingly also. So this is what one point. Second point, the Sunday classes, deep clarifications, conceptualization, and explanations. We flow with the thought. We visualize the situation. And the experience portion comes when we actually come for the practice. I recall the day when Shabir Bhai asked me, Mahenji, take support of the take any support, make the spine straight. A very simple sentence. Taking the spine straight is the beginning, in fact, but he takes the support. Now that day I really took the support. Fixing the base, taking the support, making the spine straight, expansion of the chest and holding it. Now this preparatory concept was there and it was done. And with this, again, eyes closed, Kandhas, and then Kapalbhati. And Kapalbhati 70, 80, 90, when materializes to the state when I have to observe the breathing. And that day, believe me, it was the time I was just thinking what is happening when everything was finished. The breath was not going, the concept was not coming. Everything was, void, void and void and void. In fact, when Shabir Bhai said to come out, ye bhi nahi lag raha tha what he's going to say. This is a total void situation. Blank in the mind, blank and everywhere. And at times I feel कि थोड़ा continue करें इसको. Difficult to come out of the situation. These experiences are there. Now I think these experiences need to be adopted. I would use Ashaji's emphatic terms when she says Satatam. She brings about every time that Satatam, whatever work we do, our effort should be on the point of the experience. And I hope I'm gaining little and little. Whether the practices were done earlier or not, but experiences are definitely different every time. Thank you.
Okay. Would like to go next?
Yeah. So, the emphasis is always on quality than on quantity. The experience has to come. That's all.
The flow which we are going in, the objective that everyone is having in the mind is the right attitude and objective kept in the mind. We are going with that attitude. It is really going to help us a lot. And if this is what is being experienced by everyone, Jayakumar should feel himself very proud along with myself and Vishnu to tell, okay, yes, what we intended to bring about the changes, those things are happening. And it is a very good learning experience to these young teachers like Jayakumar and Vishnu when you people come across with this kind of feedback. I have told Vishnu to join us in our discussions on Sundays at 11:45, but he is unable to join because of the lectures that he is having on Sundays at college. That is the reason he says, sir, होता नहीं है. मैं कहता हूँ उसको कि 15 मिनट निकाल ले, तो वो कहता है कि नहीं, that is not happening. Otherwise, I would have certainly loved to come there and discuss. So with this discussion, he will also get slightly more motivated and try to bring about certain changes which are essential. So this discussion is very important for him also. That I'm realizing it. So let me make a point that next time he is also attending this discussion at least with us on this time.
People do even if they want to do. For example, I don't trust her than I cannot do it. Even Kapalbhati, I'm not to do Kapalbhati. Though I can do it, but I don't like to do 4 rounds, like 400 times. It's too much for my kind of a system. So, which is good and not pushing people. There are some teachers who go on people, which is not advisable.
See, that is where we go wrong. That is where we go. Every individual is having their own ability and capacity. Every individual, as they are having their ability and capacity, we need to understand everyone else is not going to be like you.
Yes.
They are always going to be different, and we have to come into that person's state and understand if I would have been like this, how I would have done. And that's where we need to bring that kind of, and the more slower approach for that progress is better always. So that is why I make it understand that we should not go for that many. Let us limit ourselves.
I recall, Shabir bhai, that day when you said that it is tailor-made for everyone. So it's a good. In fact, I appreciate. I recall always that word that okay, if it is not suit or it doesn't suit, or at least whenever I go beyond the step of relaxation, I stop. I keep that point. That is relaxation, the central idea. I'm not going to hurt whosoever or whatever is being done. Now that central point, you know, and that is always, I mean, I appreciate, should not appreciate rather, it's a part of that tailor-made design is good. One should realize this also. If this is what, of course, if a doubt, we can discuss right or wrong. But then, of course, if something is going to harm and we are going to capacity to understand it's going to harm, I think that is a point we must take into account all this.
These things have been literally written in our Yoga Sutra, whether it is related to asana, whether it is related to pranayama.
Yes.
This Prayatna Shaitilyam is written there in our asana part. And Desha Kala Sankhya Bhi. So that is also, and Dirgha Sukshma. The words are very clear in the explanation of the pranayama.
Oh.
And people are not taking these principles into consideration when teaching. That is where things become vulnerable. If these things are understood and brought into practice, we will do a lot of justification.
As a teacher, for last so many 35 years, sometimes I feel that students underestimate their capacity. So a little bit of push is required. But of course, we are not physically present. If I think we were physically present, you would have pushed us a little bit. That's my feeling.
Sir, this is the lacuna which we have in online. Last week, myself and Sunil bhai, we were discussing, and we were discussing about the limitations of the online learning and teaching. We were having that discussion going on. But here, let me tell you, even if the students are underestimating or maybe overestimating also, or they may not be able to judge their ability and capacity, but it is the duty of the teacher to understand or have that kind of intelligence to know the student. In the practical class, we are trained to do that. We need to do that. If we are not doing it, then you are not a teacher at all. Let me be very clear, frank. If you are not doing on that aspect, then you are not a teacher. You can be a good practitioner, nothing, no doubt about it. There are people who cannot become good teachers. There are people who don't become good practitioners, but they do become good teachers. I have seen that also. I have seen in my circle itself, there are people who say, "Yaar, humse practice nahi hota hai." Because they are such a good teachers, they, by the movement of the body itself, they understand what wrong is going on in that person's practice. There are people. That is the beauty of their being teachers. So they are blessed to be teachers. Maybe the practice part will be done in next janma, I don't know. But this is where the things are happening. So it is very important for the teacher to have that quality. And Jai Kumar being here, as well as Vishnu being there, my understanding with these budding teachers are always to this: do not become forceful or do not become overwhelming with your expectations when you are dealing with students. Let it take time. अगर स्टूडेंट बोलता है ना, नहीं आपके पास बोर होते हैं हम लोग सीखने के लिए, तो उसको जाने दो, चलेगा. You don't become responsible for their problems. तो अगर आपके पास है तो take care. If they are not, there are many students who have left Sabir Bhai's teaching. Why? They felt, sir, आप बहुत slow हैं. कभी-कभी हमको लगता है कि आप बहुत ज्यादा बोलते हैं, आप कम कराते हैं और ज्यादा बात करते हैं. So I feel it's fine. You don't like it, don't come to me. But this is how I teach. If you like it, be with me. Otherwise, you can go ahead. There are many teachers, no problem with that. So वो उनका भोग है, वो उनको ले जाएगा. बट व्हाट वी कुड अंडरस्टैंड व्हाट इज नीडेड, क्योंकि अगर कभी स्टूडेंट ने ये डिसाइड कर लिया कि उसको क्या करना है, उसको कैसे चाहिए, और वो कहता है कि मुझे आज ये सिखाओ, मुझे आज वो सिखाओ, मुझे ये करना है, तो फिर आपकी जरूरत ही कहां है? फिर टीचर की जरूरत ही नहीं है। ये टीचर ही स्टूडेंट को समझ सकता है। स्टूडेंट कभी कभी अपने आप को बिल्कुल नहीं समझता। वो कहेगा मुझे ये अच्छा लगता है, मुझसे ये करवाइए, तो उसको वो कहो आज मैं ये बिल्कुल नहीं कराता हूं, क्योंकि तुमको जो अच्छा लगता है वो मुझे नहीं कराना, जो मुझे तुम्हारे लिए सही लगता है वही मुझे कराना है। तो सही और गलत का फर्क वो हम दोनों को समझना है कि हमको किस तरह से करना चाहिए। जब तक वो बात दिमाग में नहीं आ जाती, इट इज वेरी डिफिकल्ट टू गो अहेड। इट्स लाइक दैट। Jay Kumar would like to share something now.
Yes, Jay Kumar.
Yeah, I won't talk much in the class, you know. When I was started teaching Westerners, I was explaining things, and these guys were complaining to the doctor, this guy is talking too much. We know all the breathing exercise and practice. We have been practicing since this time or that time, you know. Then I stopped with that talking. You know? I don't talk much in the class. So, but I'll ask them, you know, just give me the feedback if you have some doubts or questions. If I know, if it's, you know, in my knowledge, I can explain. Otherwise, I will refer or ask to somebody and explain.
Right. Okay. Very nice. Thank you very much. And then we meet on Sunday the 10th.
Namaste.
Namaste.
नमस्ते साबिर भाई, नमस्ते आशा जी, नमस्ते सुनील,
Namaste, sir.
नमस्ते महेंद्र जी,
Namaste.
नमस्ते जय कुमार जी।